bonito para limpiar esto. Okay. Bueno, sí, ellos no tienen extradición con Dubai, no tienen. Mm. Saludos, saludos. Gracias por llegarte. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Mm. El oro en 3.329, 33, 33.29. Mm. No, déjame hacerlo yo como lo quiero hacer yo. Déjame hacerlo yo. Hello, hello to you. Thank you for being here in the show. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that you guys are here. Thank you. Thank you. Un minuto más. Vamos a ver. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market live stream update. I mean, Kino's telling me to use different words, so I'm blind to what he says. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get into anything, Sweet Kid Kino wants me to say that don't forget to subscribe and, those fancy words those people use, smash that subscribe button, and all that good stuff. So I'm just telling you what Sweet Kid Kino wants me to say. I don't feel that comfortable, telling you guys to smash the button and subscribe, but, you know, to make Sweet Kid Kino happy, the owner of this channel, I will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a lot of topics that we want to, we just want to cover. We have a lot of topics. We have always the watch market update and some different topics that, are going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off. The first thing I want to tell you guys is that the price per ounce of gold as of today is $3,329 per ounce, And I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that gold will hit, I believe it's going to hit, you know, mm, easily $3,400 an ounce, very, very soon, and 3,500 soon as well. So, just to give you a little heads up on what gold is going on. I know everybody, every watch Muppet Boiler Room watch dealer is cashing in heavily and buying scrap gold because that's where the money is at. Also, I want to talk to you about another subject that you guys I have spoken to you briefly about, but to the ones that haven't heard, to the 10 organic right now that are watching, they're going to hear this. We've been telling you about that these people use the word discontinue, and I'm going to show you a couple of words that they're using on you guys to, get you going, to get you mesmerized, to get you, MK Ultra dizzy, They want to use collector's choice, they want to use collector's dream, they want to use collector's grade, and they want to also use collector's, listen and learn, collector's unit, unit. So, giving you these things so you can put them in your drawer, and when you hear it, you know where you heard it first from, because these people every day got to change things around to get you dizzy and get you taken. I also want to talk about a couple of things, that you guys should know about. You have right now a lot of people that they are saying that they are selling their whole watch collection. That's right. You're hearing people out there now saying that they're getting rid of their whole watch collection because it's not the way they explained it to them, that it was an unbelievable investment and they were going to make hundreds and millions of dollars with watches. So you're hearing a lot of people now, like an example, you're hearing this gentleman from the UK, the gentleman in the UK, I call Popeye, and he wears a white short sleeve shirt with, his armpits yellow, you know what I'm saying? Or they're from the UK, and he's now saying that he bought $1 million watch collection from one of his uh, customers. But I want all of you to know something. This is more of, this is their watch inventory that they have, that they can't move no more because Rolex is giving watches to everybody. All the ADs are giving watches to everybody. Whether you want to believe it or not, I don't care if you believe it or not. I don't give a hood. I don't give a hood if you believe it or not. But you got that gentleman from the UK, that I call Popeye, with the white, short sleeve dress shirt with the yellow armpits. The yellow, unbelievable, Yeah, I don't know. The yellow, very yellow. Not a good thing, But so he's now promoting that he bought, millions of dollars of Rolex watches. We know Rolexes are everywhere, you know. Popeye, we know you can't get nobody take it any longer. So you got to come up with a new sketch that you purchase all these watches, from your boy. But I also want to tell all of you too that in part it is true. People are getting rid of all their watches because, they suck the fun out of it, They suck the fun right out of it. So, people are just selling watches everywhere. And you might ask yourself, how do you know? Well, I have many people that I know that are in the watch business. Many that you know and that I know. And they tell me everything that's going on. That's right. I said it wrong. They tell everything to no other than sweet Kino. Kino to me, Joaquin to you. We know everything that's going on. So you have that gentleman over there now, the gentleman that I call Popeye, that has a white dress, short sleeve shirt with the armpits yellow. They're yellow. I don't know if he uses, spray or something, but that looks, man, yellow. It's not a good thing. So, be careful, have your ears open, because everybody is getting rid of watches. That is true. But in his case, I believe basically he wants to get rid of his watches because he knows what's coming, and this is coming. This is coming. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I had a gentleman. I said it wrong. I have a gentleman that we speak every once in a while, and we were talking. And I've always told you that these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers use our prices. That's right. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers use Kino's prices, not my prices, because the one that says all these prices is this gentleman. It is him. It's not me. I don't have the studies to give you these prices. But this person told me something that was really touching to me, and he even showed me uh, um, a link that they forwarded him. He was in the Miami Watch Show. He was in the Miami Watch Show. I'm pretty in shock, what he showed me, what he told me. He was in the Miami Watch Show, and he's a wheeler and a dealer. He's a mover and a shaker. A mover and a shaker, and he's always moving around watches, buying watches, and all that good stuff. So he's selling a watch to one of these Muppet Boiler Room dealers in the Miami Watch Show, and he is asking for such price. But the dodo bird, listen and learn. But the dodo bird in the Miami Watch Show, he doesn't know how to wiggle. You have to know how to wiggle. This is why la experiencia, experience comes in effect to help you. And this dealer, he didn't. He showed his ace of spades. The ace of spades. Like in blackjack, the ace. He showed it to him. And you say, well, how did he show it to him? Well, he was asking for a price for a watch, and he was selling a watch. He was asking for a price, and he was selling a watch. And he's done business with this person, and the person is telling me, I never believed when you would say, listen to this, listen and learn. He says, I never believed when you said that Muppet Boiler Rooms, listen to your prices and use your prices. And I said, really? Yes, I never believed. And he goes to me, so when I'm offering him the watch, the dealer in the Miami Watch Show says to him, I'm going to send you a link so you can see what prices that watch costs. And this person, which is a subscriber of our channel, and he's also a dealer, he had to tell me, I cannot use his name. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. No, we don't do that here. But I'm going to tell you the story. So the guy has, he has balls of steel, the watch dealer. He sends him a link to this other dealer. When he opens up the link, it was yours truly giving out the price. And he was telling this other dealer, this is what this watch costs. An example, this is all an example. He was selling a rose gold date president, with an olive green dial. And he was asking an example. This is all an example. He was asking $44,000. So that Muppet Boiler Room from the Miami Watch Show sends him a link from me, from Opus in Time. And Opus in Time says, don't pay more than $39,000 for an olive green dial. Do you understand me? And this person was in shock. He was in shock. He couldn't believe that he was using me as a level of purchasing a watch with my numbers. He was in shock. He couldn't believe that he was using Juan Felipe Nieves and Sweet Kino's watch market update prices. And the guy was in shock, and he called him back and says, dude, you're using this gentleman's prices? He says, yes, those are the prices. So what I'm trying to tell you, I've been telling you for some time how the watch market is behaving, and you guys have trouble believing. And you guys have trouble believing that all these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers, and channels and all that good stuff, use our prices for leverage. That's right. To buy your watches. And this man threw this other watch dealer under the bus when he told me all that. And he says, today I'm a true believer that people do really listen and use your price numbers. I've been telling you guys for the longest. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. When me and Sweet Kid Kino are not no longer here, you guys are gonna keep on getting the stiff. Stiff, stiff upper lip, from ACDC. You ever heard of ACDC? If you haven't never heard of ACDC, you Google it. But you're gonna get a stiff upper lip, So this is what this man has told me, and I wanted to pass it along to you guys, so you understand that these, spoof balls, these spoof balls, they spook into this channel, they spook into look at my videos and prices to use it to you guys, to use it against you guys. But that guy was a dodo bird. He was so stupid that he sent them a link of a watch that the other gentleman was trying to sell, so he can see what the price of the market is. And he bugged out. He bugged out because there was no other than Sweet Kid Kino's prices. That's right. Kino era una jodienda. Era una jodienda. Era una jodienda. And I want to let you know about that. I want you to know what's going on. I want you to know truly what's going on. Listen, man, we're making a big dent in the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market. We have single-handedly disrupted, rattled, dismantled the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers and channels. People all the way from New York and 47th Street, the subway train jumper, the skin-tight genie with the man bun and his sidekick partner, to dealers here like the two toddler body brothers in downtown Miami. They know who we all are, papi. They know exactly who we are. And what do we get? We get the short end of the stick, but we don't care because we're stupid like that. We want you to keep on maintaining those people out there, and you continue buying raffle tickets, from the two toddler body brothers. You're maintaining their go fast boat, their go fast car, unbelievable. You're maintaining everything, You guys are basically a bunch of window liquor lollipop suckers, and you're also maintaining the Walrus fat bastard as well, But that's fine, that's fine. We're not gonna be here forever. I already told Kino, yo no voy a estar en esta pendeja. Es la verdad, Kino, no te pongas bravo conmigo, pero yo no voy a estar en esta mariconería. Yo ayudo a los huelebichos estos huelebichos no quieren aprender, quieren seguir que le metan el puyongo y más nada. If you didn't understand what I say, you Google it, because I'm not going to tell you, and neither is Sweet Kid Kino. All right? Just to let you know, watch Muppet grade dealers use all my watch prices. Get it through your head. No sean gilipollas, ni lambones. Somos un bonche de sapos. If you don't know what sapo is, you Google it. I dare anybody to put up there what a sapo is. I dare you. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go into our next topic. Ladies and gentlemen. We have seen in the last year, of a lot of United Kingdom watch dealers, doing a crossover. It's unbelievable, they're doing a crossover from the UK to, that country where the oil men control everything, Dubai, you first saw doing a crossover, the Walrus fat bastard, I take it back. It wasn't the Walrus fat bastard. We say things here the way they are for real. I take it back. It wasn't the Walrus fat bastard. The first one that I noticed going over there, now that Kino flagged me down, he said it was that guy, that guy that has beaver teeth, like beaver, So correcto, Flip. El Sapo. You know, it has beaver teeth. You know, the companies over there from the UK too, you know, CCM, you know, he was like a beaver, you know, like a beaver. You know, he went over there. He went over there to open a company in Dubai, you know, to open a company in Dubai, a watch company, you know, and they have a store in UK. You know, they're like four of them. You know, Mo, Larry, and Curly. You know, and Champ. They're all there. You know, they stood in the UK, and the little beaver went to Dubai. You know, and he opened a shop over there. And I told you, they're working over there with those people, with those oil man. It's not easy. Those people will take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. Those people are unbelievable. I know about those people because I have sent many cans to that country. You know, many cans. If you don't know what a can is, you Google it because I'm not going to tell you. So that little beaver went over there. And he went over there, you know, flexing. He's over there, and this over there, and this over there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he was over there. And then you had the Warris fat bastard. You know, the Warris fat bastard. Let me explain to you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys don't know this, Dubai is basically a big mall in the desert. Dubai is basically a big mall. A big mall. El mall, the Dayland Mall, Mall of America, you know, big mall in the desert. You know, and it's unbelievable. You know, it caters to, you know, criminals. Criminals love to go to Dubai. You know, they don't have there no extradition over there. You know, Dubai with the UK. So if you're a criminal, papi, te viene como anillo al dedo. You know, like ring to the finger. You know, ring to the finger. You know, eres un criminal, is the place to go. But again, I'm telling you, you know, Dubai is basically a big, gigantic mall in the desert. If you don't know about that, that's fine. I know about that because I'm telling you, I send cans. Está bien, se lo digo aquí, no? Okay, a can is a container, a 20-foot container, a 40-foot container, a open container, you know? Come on, get with the program, boys, you know? So you had then the Warris fat bastard. And I'm telling you, criminals love Dubai. You know, there's no extradition, you know, with the UK, with Dubai, and they love it over there. So you had the Warris fat bastard go over there, and he started doing his song and dance over there, selling his raffle tickets, giving Apple iPads, computers, bicycles, Harley Davidson, Ferraris, Lambos, over there, you know, and the oil man place, you know. And he went over there thinking he was going to discover America, you know, descubrió América, papi, pero le metieron el dedo en el joyete. En el joyete se lo metieron. And he had to kish, you know, he kish. And he went back home con el rabo, with the tail, abajo las patas, you know. He left. And then you have the other guy, you know, the beaver. The beaver one too. These are English people. And the beaver went over there, he opened a shop and, you know, this and furniture and all that good stuff. The beaver. Come on, guys. This is the channel that tells you the truth. This is the channel that tells you the truth of what's happening. They're not going to ever tell you none of these things. They never will tell you this. But me and Sweet Kikino will. Because we are damn stupid like that, papi. Damn stupid. You know, somos unos estúpidos. Unos retontos. You know, retontos, somos unos estúpidos. So, the beaver, you know, he opened the store, fancy flooring, fancy cabinets, all this, you know. He even fixes toupee as well, too. You know, the beaver, you know, he's over there. And papi, last week, he said, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. You're hearing this? Two, the Warris fat bastard and the English beaver, you know, gone. But ladies and gentlemen, remember you are in a big desert mall where these people control everything. Let me tell you something quickly because you guys don't know about this. 85%, 85% of the people that live in Dubai, they serve the real owners of that country, which is a 15%. 15%. The other 85 is a mixed bowl of salad of different people from different parts of all over the world. And that 85% serves the real owners of that country. You understand me? The real ones, the real owners of that country. 15% and 85% are slaves to them. I bet you guys didn't know that. 85%. In other words, those two English guys were slaves to them, but they had to run. They had to run like on wheel, you know? On wheel, papi, on wheel. A correr, they had to run. Because those people don't mess around. That 15%, the real owners, they don't frog around over there, bro. Those people don't frog around. There's 15% and 85% work for you. Everyone. If that beaver went over there to work over there, he had to get permission. He had to get un padrino. He had to get a godfather. He had to get a business partner, from the 15%. Also, the war is fat bastard too. He had to get somebody else too. Whatever you make, I make a cut from you. That's how it works over there. You think these people son unos estúpidos? These people are real smart, papi. I'm giving you classes, knowledge for free. For free. For free. Papi, ¿qué me van a dar aquí, no? ¿Qué me van a dar los huele bichos estos? $85 work for that 15%. The real, authentic people that live in Dubai. 85% are slaves, 15% walk around the whole mall with orange handbags, shopping bags, Hermes from China, They walk the whole day with Hermes orange little bags, because you work for them. Okay, I already gave you that class. 85, 15. You know how it works already. You know how it works. That 15% of the real billionaires of that country. Va a decirme a mí que el Beaver va para allá a jugar con el trompo y que el Walrus Fat Bastard va a jugar para allá. And you also have the man that controls the whole thing over there in the watch industry. We have one man that controls everything over there. If you guys don't know it, well, today you're going to know it. You're going to find out today. You have a small man that's probably 5 feet, 3 inches, We call him the Iron Sheik Tunic Man, the Iron Sheik Tunic Man, And this man must have $400 million in watches. Any watch you can think, that man has it. So you're going to tell me that the Walrus Fat Bastard, the English Beaver, are going to go over there and play? But anyway, guys, this Iron Sheik has a platonic love with another English gentleman. Unbelievable. English people are unbelievable. I don't know what's going on. But, so we have this young fella, which I call, Harry Potter. Harry Potter from the UK too. He's probably like, I don't know, a young kid. He looks like my grandson, unbelievable. But the Iron Sheik Tunic Man has got him, some kind of platonic love with him. And you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. That young kid from the UK, these two return back home, but this one is going back over there because it says that was his dream to move over there, to live over there. It's safe to live over there. But basically, I believe that young kid is going to go over there and he's going to be another slave to the Iron Sheik Tunic Man, He's going to go over there, you know who I'm talking about, the young kid, that he's always in a bicycle, in a train, and he's selling watches, and he just opened an office. But he's going to go over there because he's going to discover that place too. He's going to discover it, va a salir con las nalgas rotas. Con las nalgas rotas va a salir. So, he's moving over there. You know, and I'm telling you, this is a safe haven for, you know, for criminals. You know, they love it over there. You know, if you're a criminal, papi, you're good. Because these people don't have no extradition with UK, and you know, and like I said again, this is a big desert mall, you know, big desert mall, and they're all gonna get together. So, you know, this is what's going on. Everybody's giving it a shot to see what's gonna happen to them over there, and what's gonna happen to them over there is this: get back in a plane and go back home. You can't play with those homies over there. Those homies play a different game. Those oil guys over there don't play around. And when they put on that tunic, you know, that tunic uniform, you know, the iron sheik tunic uniform, papi, te rompen las nalgas. Te rompen las nalgas. I know what I'm telling you. I've done business with them. It's not like you think it is. Estos hijos de la gran puta son el diablo. Son el diablo. Tú no sabes lo que significa eso, lambones. You know, you Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You know, I'm just trying to tell you what's happening with these English watch dealers, you know, from the UK. Things are bad, papi. There's no more action. There's no more suckers out there. There's no more suckers. The watch market is dead. Se van. Look, go back home with your health. Go back home with your health. Mr. English Beaver, go back home. Walrus Fat Bastard, go back home. Go back home. Go back home. No ven aquí a inventar. Don't come invent over here. Don't come to invent over here. So, you know what's going on already. I'm trying to let you know what's going on. You know, I already told you that there is no extradition, you know, with the UK. And if you are running, you go over there, they take care of you, but then they, you know, te pueden dar en el orto. Just letting you guys know. I think I'm giving you a lot of, you know, I'm telling you, you know what I'm trying to say, Matt. You know what I'm trying to say, Matt. If you want, keep on putting it there, you know, so they can see it. You know, I'm telling you, these people over there, they let you go back home with your health. If you don't know what that means, health, that's up to you. You know, go home. I'm telling you, 15% are the real owners of that country, and 85% are the help. No matter if you are true-blooded American, English, Puerto Rican, Cuban, whatever you want to call yourself, you know, whatever you want to call yourself, you're going to be the help over there to that 15%. You know, I'm telling you, and I believe that that young little kid, you know, a young kid, Harry Potter, is going to be the help of the Iron Sheik tunic man. He might be saying that he's going to open a business, Bobby. To open a business over there, get it through your head, because you guys haven't listened to me. To open a business over there, you got to be a partner to one of those 15%. Whatever you make $100, give me $50. You make $200,000, give me $100. $100,000. You make $1 million, give me $500,000. I bet you nobody's ever told you this, but I will. And how do you know, Juan? Because I've been approached. I've been approached. And I know the whole thing, how it works. Everybody that has a business in Dubai has un padrino, has a godfather, has a partner, and that partner is a 15%. I challenge any of you to say something about that right now and say, God damn, how does that one know so much? Man, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. It's sweet Kino. He's the brains. He reads the whole day. I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. I know it's hard for you to understand what I'm telling you. And you might be saying, how does that work? Papi, I told you in lesson in lesson 12, I told you that the world, listen and learn. I told you that the world is a business. And me and you are not involved in that business. And we never will. We never will. So when you go to that side of the land over there, to the pond, whatever you want to call it, to the camel place, those people don't frog around, papi. Those people don't frog around. To open a business there, you have to have a partner from that 15%. Not the 85%. That's the taxi driver, the Uber driver, this, luggage, that, hotel. No. Tours. No. You need to hang out with the 15%. O te meten una pescosa y te mandan a correr. You don't know about that? You guys don't know about this kind of stuff? Well, there it is, all right? So now the young kid, Harry Potter, is going to be under the wings, of the Iron Sheik Tunic Man, That's it. Sit down there, move my watches. The Tunic Man needs a new, fresh face, And it wasn't the Warris fat bastard. It wasn't the Warris fat bastard. And it wasn't the English beaver. It wasn't. Go back home. We want the little kid. We want the little kid. We want the young little kid, We're going to put him here to move all my Richard Mille watches. They're dead in water. All right? Did you understand me? Come on. Did you understand me? Yes or no? No? No kilo. No dame un kilo. Ni un kilo down. Send Kino 50 cents. Send him a super chat for 50 cents so he doesn't bother me no more. Send him 50 cents. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go into the watch market update because basically this is what you guys like to hear, just the watch market update. I believe none of the things that I tell you really care about because you guys are hopping around through life like rabbits, and that's fine. And if you guys want to continue, getting sea salt water in your eyes so you don't see what's happening, you're walking around like that, that's fine. But we're going to give you the watch market update porque esto es lo que ellos quieren que, yo le voy a dar un watch market update. I'm going to give you a watch market update on a client. Mira, aquí no te mandaron ahí $1. Mr. Ed Blair, $1, papi. Thank you very much, Mr. Ed Blair. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Ya, ahorita ya? Yeah. Okay? We're good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch market update that one of our organic subscribers, which he is a Richard Mille collector, wanted me to do a watch market update. And I'm going to do, 5, 7, watches of Richard Mille so he can relax. So if you're a Richard Mille watch collector, listen and learn. Our first watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Richard Mille. And also the gentleman from the Iron Sheik, from over there, the oil man, the Iron Sheik Tunic Man is hear me out, okay? I know you're probably watching me. So if you have a Richard Mille Black, Asia edition, Bubba Watson, RM055, 50 pieces around the world. This watch at one moment was over $800,000, $900,000, $1 million. It depends how close it was to the Corona era. It depends. And ladies and gentlemen, to the gentleman that has a Richard Mille collection, this is the price that you should pay for these watches, these Richard Mille watches that are dead in water. You do whatever you want. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this watch made it all the way up to a whole melon. A whole melon. You don't know what a melon is? You don't know what a melon is. You should be ashamed of yourself that you don't know what a whole melon is. And I'm not going to tell you. And neither is Sweet Kit. Have somebody there, from the show, tell you what a melon is. They'll tell you because they've been listening. A whole melon. And I'm going to tell you today, Mr. Richard Mille watch collector, won't pay for that RM055 Asia Edition Black Ceramic Bubba Watson. Don't pay more than $229,000. And dumping, dumping, dumping tunic, man. Dumping, dumping. I'm telling you, he's dead. You do whatever you want, but he's dead. He's dead. You do whatever you want. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. You gotta be nuts to buy Richard Mille watches, you know, with that STD, STP, NTP, you know, with the sketch, you know, we'll give you the logo, you know, we'll give you the logo. Unbelievable. Thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, otro señor le dio un super chat, yo también. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm trying to tell you. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Our next Richard Mille watch is an RM7201 Chrono Titanium. Unbelievable, you know? Unbelievable. It's a lifestyle chrono, you know? A lifestyle chrono. This watch again was over, man, $500,000. $500,000. And people were sitting in their Ferrari Italia, you know, just pushing the button away. You know, wire. Disgusting. Disgusting. Just disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. Disgusting. You know, disgusting. I mean, it's the truth. The truth is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Mille watch is dead in water. Forget about that, you know, that material use, STD, you know? Forget about the STD. You know, que es una mierda, STD ni STD. Come on, guys. Get for real, guys, you know? Richard Mille, RM7201 Chrono Titanium, you know? Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that Richard Mille. I mean, you do whatever you want. Tú estás jodido, papi. Estás jodido. Logo con todos ustedes. Logo con todos ustedes. Don't pay more than $208,000. Richard Mille watches dead in the water. Dead. Lo vengo a destruir. I come to destroy them. I come to destroy them all. You got a Richard Mille watch. I'm going to destroy it. Destroy it. Unbelievable but true. He's dead. You do whatever you want. He's dead. He's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Richard Mille RM6701 Rose Gold Skeletonized. Unbelievable, you know? Skeletonized. This is a new watch, ladies and gentlemen. A new watch that I've been offered. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. Richard Mille watches are dead. Are dead, floating face up. Not even face down. No, not like this. Face up, you know? Unbelievable. Dead. It's stinky in a septic tank. It's smelly. Bad. It's bad. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even want to tell you what this watch was being sold. You know, rose gold, skeletonized, you know. You can see everything, you know, the organs of the watch, you know. Unbelievable. Don't pay for that watch. And I'm telling you, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your children's tuition money. You do whatever you want with your 401k if you have anything left over of your 401k. I bet a lot of you are a bunch of lollipop suckers, window lickers that gave away your hard-earned 401k. Don't pay. Don't pay for that RM6701 Rose Gold. Don't pay more than $167,000. Kino, aguántame para atrás. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. I'm serious. Richard Mille watches will destroy your bank account. Will destroy you. If you're looking to buy a Richard Mille, I advise you to look into gold. He's dead. He's dead. And that, you know, that Iron Sheik tunic man that's taking in under his wings, you know, the little Harry Potter, he's gonna make him move some Richard Mille watch. He's dead. He's dead, like a Frank Mueller, like a Hublet, like a Jacob. like Alain Cyberstein. I bet you guys don't even know who Alain Cyberstein is. Es que esta gente no se merece nada aquí, ¿no? Si son unos huele bicho, unos huele bicho, unos huele bicho, pídate de eso. You don't know who Alain Cyberstein is. He was the first one. He was the biggest machine there was. He got all of you. He was the first to get all of you. You guys don't know about that. And the same thing is going to happen with Richard Mille. Dead. Dead. Ladies and gentlemen, when I talk to you about this watch, you're not going to believe this. This is a Richard Mille. Sir, are you listening to the Richard Mille prices? Listen and learn. Listen and learn so you don't continue getting taken. You know? Listen and learn. You know too much, Wicked. You let them know, Wicked. I don't know who that person is. You let them know, Wicked. You let them know. You let them know. But that person, deep. Thank you very much, Mr. Matt. Thank you very much, Mr. Matt. Te mandó algún regalo. Thank you very much, Mr. Matt. You know, I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear Richard Mille here today. Richard Mille. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear about a watch. About a gentleman that played tennis. You know, he was an ambassador. He played tennis. Unbelievable. Superstar. And he got whatever watches you can think of, he got from Richard Mille. And we're talking about the Richard Mille RM35. You know, carbon. You know, this is unbelievable. STD, STP, NTP, all these, you know, different, I don't know, materials they use. You know, it's so many materials they use. It's unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen, but this watch, at one moment, this watch was over. Listen and learn. I feel bad. You know what? I don't feel bad. If you're sitting down in a Ferrari 458 Italia, pushing buttons, it's not a problem. You got all the money in the world to, you know, just give it away. Give it away. You know? 700,000, 800,000. You know, I got a Rafa Nadal. I got a Rafa Nadal. I got on the Rafa. I got Rafa. They went bananas in that Corona era. I mean, es que eran unos mamones, unos lambones. Rafael Nadal. Rafa Nadal. Unbelievable. Red. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, carbon. You know, with a quartz. You know, TPT, you know, all that garbage. You know, all these numbers they like to give to you guys, and you guys like it. You like it. Profundo, you like it. You know, and I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you the price, you're going to go, wow, man. This is going to become another Alain Cyberstein, another Jacob, another Hublet, another Frank Mueller. Thank you very much, Damon, for that super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, Damon. Thank you very, very much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you very much. Te mando algo, Damon. Te mando algo. You're not going to believe when I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. But this Rafael Nadal, from the $800,000 mark number, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more. You ready? You ready, sir? Don't get disgusted, sir. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Don't pay for that watch more than $189,000. Dubbing! Richard Mille watch is dead. Dead in water. Me and Sweet Kikino will finish Richard Mille. We will finish Richard Mille. We will finish Richard Mille. Not because we dislike Richard Mille or we don't have a Richard Mille. Papi, no sean lambones. No sean lambones. How can those watches be costing more than an AP, than a Patek, than a Vacheron? You know, historical watches. This is, you know, a 25-year-old watch. That's it. Rompe, goodbye. That's it. Dead. I know what I'm telling you. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is another Richard Mille, sir. You know, yesterday there was a real big race here. You know, here in Miami, Florida, in Miami Gardens, in Hard Rock. You know, Hard Rock Football Stadium. They had a real big race here, Formula One. Unbelievable race car drivers. You know, yachts all over the place. You know, yachts from all over the world coming here. You know, with just going nuts. You know, and they were telling me that in the race there were not a lot of Richard Milles being seen no more. You know, they went back to the Pateks and the APs and the Rolex. You know what I'm saying? But the Richard Milles is like stinky. You know, sir, I'm sorry if I'm, sorry, sir, but it's the truth. I mean, you wanted it, you got it. I'm going to give it to you. You know, I'm going to give it to you. The Richard Mille RM011 Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa chronograph. Unbelievable. You put that watch in your hand and you had your orange or your green Lambo, you know, or your green Porsche, and you had that on your hand, man, you were it. You were talking about a $475,000 watch. Felipe Massa, F1, Papi. You know, the material, NTP, STD, STD, NTP, TPT, you know, all that garbage, you know, titanium, you know, all that good stuff that you guys like to hear, you know. I'm telling you. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you the price of this Felipe Massa, this is like a Formula One in your hand. You know, Formula One. A Formula One in your hand. Thank you very much, Mr. Wicked, for that super chat. Thank you very much, Wicked. Thank you so much. You know, you have like a Formula One in your hand, and people were going crazy because you had that watch in your hand. $475,000. You know, and you had your Ferrari, and you had it on your hand, and you were cruising in this car, and you paid $475 on the push of a button, and sending it away, you know, giving away your children's tuition money, giving away your grandmother's, you know, house she left you, you know. She gave you a house, and you bought a watch with that house money. This is sad. It's unbelievable. But I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Felipe Massa, Formula One, you know, Richard Mille. I don't know what this is. I don't care. But I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is sad. You ready? This is sad. Qué locura. $475. Don't pay more. Don't pay more than $140,000. Dumping! 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 Watch Mikey dead. Richard Mille watches it dead in water like this. He dead. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Go over there, you know. Call Deputy Boxing Black Eyes and call Jiminy Cricket, the Chia Pet Spray Can Hand. Go buy it over there. Go buy it over there. Go over there. Go buy it 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 over there. Don't listen to me. Go buy it over there. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is another Richard Mille. Richard Mille, I'm telling you, Richard Mille, you're going to get it today, Richard Mille. Richard Mille, RM030. Gold, skeletonized dial. Unbelievable, ladies. This is gross, ladies and gentlemen. This is gross. This is gross. You know, those two brothers, you know, out of Beverly Hills, you know, at the night at the Roxbury, you know, with their sidekick, Toupee Wigman, you know, 80 years old, driving Ferrari all over the place, worth over $400 million, you know? And those two brothers, you know, one is tall, one is short, one is smart, one is dumb, one talks a lot, one is introverted, you know? They have a stack. In the United States of America, I compare them to the Iron Sheik Tunic Man with all his Richard Milles over there in the Oil Man place. And the Roxbury brothers are the ones that have it here. Se están comiendo the Richard Mille. They gotta eat them with papa, with French fries. They gotta eat all those Richard Mille watches with McDonald's French fries. Dead. 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 You know, the Roxbury brothers, you know? You know who I'm talking about. You know, the stage content, you know? Because they're not even making no more videos. They're making reels. Reels. You know who's making real content? Me! And Sweet Kick Kino. That's right. And what do we get? The short end of the stick. But we don't care. Because we are awakening the masses. We are awakening the masses. Unbelievable. I already said the Toddler Body Brothers with their raffles. If you don't know who the two Toddler Body Brothers with the raffles are, that's your problem. If you don't know from 47th Street in New York who is the subway train jumper and the skin tight genie, you know, Sinbad, you know, with the man bun, that's your problem. That's your problem. If you don't know who the Walrus Fat Bastard is, that's your problem. That is your problem. Not my problem. If you still don't know who Jiminy Cricket, the Chia Pet Spray Can Hair is, that's your problem. That's your problem. I am giving it to you. All the information. Ladies and gentlemen, the Richard Mille RM030 Rose Gold Skeletonized Dial. Don't pay for that watch. I feel sorry for you. Don't pay for that watch more than $152,000 in dropping. I'm a little, my heart hurts, my chest hurts, so I gotta slow down with the dropping, you know? I'm dropping. I want you to know something, ladies and gentlemen. Sweet Kid Kino sent me a link so I can see this young kid, you know, who I call, and I have a lot of heart for him. I have a lot of heart for him. The Puerto Rican Charlie Brown. The Puerto Rican Charlie Brown has trying to change his outfit, you know? You know, he had that Charlie Brown haircut. Now he's doing like a Ricky Martin haircut. You know who Ricky Martin is, right? The singer, the Puerto Rican fabulous singer, you know? Shiki Boom Boom, you know, Shiki Boom Boom. This guy is changing totally his whole outfit, you know? No more, he doesn't want to wear, I don't think, no more hoodies, no more sweaters, no more ripped jeans, you know? The gentleman, the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown, they had to get rid of his BMW M4 Keith, you know? That he had to give it to the son. He had like real sad eyes, you know? He came out, he looked totally, he had like a, Kino said, as a Chinese made Prada jacket on, you know? He looked very thin, you know? I think he's going through some emotional problems, so maybe you guys should give him some love. It's the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown. And then you have sitting down next to him, you have Jiminy Cricket, you know, the Chia Pet Spray Can Hair. He thinks he's Nicky Scarfo. You know who Nicky Scarfo is? Nicky Scarfo, you know, from Philadelphia, you know? Nicky Scarfo, you know, he thinks he's now, he got big ears, big jumbo ears with that, you know, that Chia Pet hair, and he's talking like he's, you know, downgrading the poor Puerto Rican Charlie Brown, you know? Unbelievable. You know, these people are unbelievable. You know, remember that company, Rolex, was going to buy it for $300 million. He said that his company cost $300 million. You know, I'm talking about a Deputy Boxing Black Eyes company. It cost $300 million, and Rolex was going to buy it for him. You know, they were going to buy it for him. If that company costs today, listen and learn. If that company costs today $300,000 is a lot. $300,000. Let's continue our watch market update, ladies and gentlemen. Our next watch is an embarrassment. It's the Vacheron Constantin Overseas stainless steel, the 5500V blue dial chrono. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. This watch was over $80,000 at one moment. $80,000. The VC Overseas, the most beautiful blue dial in the game, chrono. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a couple of coins, look into it. I'm not telling you to buy it, but look into it. You know, you don't believe me? You don't believe the price I'm going to give you? The price that I'm going to give you is going to blow your hair off and knock your socks off. I'm telling you, don't pay for that Overseas blue dial chrono. Don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want, but don't pay more. This is an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Por tomar agua. I'm embarrassed. Don't pay for that overseas crown. Don't pay the 5,500. Don't pay. Crown. You ready? This is the older version. Okay? Older version. 5,500. Don't pay more than $21,500. Sad. It's sad, man. Damn! Sad. Le doy. Seguro que yo. You don't want to do this to me. Unbelievable, that sweet cake, unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a watch that if you ask me what is your favorite Patek, I would say it's this Patek. It's a Patek Philippe Nautilus. It's white gold. It has a blue dial. It was at one moment over $475,000. At one moment, we're talking about the 5740. And these boys are trying hard to bring this watch all the way up, But I just don't let them. I'm a thorn. I'm a thorn. I'm a thorn. En el joyete. I'm a thorn. En el ano. I'm a thorn. And this watch at one moment, ladies and gentlemen, it was $475,000. And you have to have a Ferrari, 458 Italia, wire. And they're trying to bring it back up, but I can't let it happen to you guys. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Patek 5740 blue dial, white gold. Heavy hitter. Listen, if you guys don't know what a 5740 is, that's all right. This is a Nautilus. It's an unbelievable, it's unbelievable. This is a monster of a watch, perpetual calendar, this is an unbelievable watch. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Don't forget this. Cash is king. Cash is king, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, what a dollar can buy you today. You know what a dollar can buy you today? A dollar can buy you today, a nickel. A nickel, papi. It's bad. What's bad? It's bad. It's bad. A nickel. A nickel. Listen to Mr. Blair. A nickel's worth. That's what can buy you. I'm telling you, he did. Don't pay for that Patek Nautilus 5740 white gold blue dial. Don't pay more than $171,000. And that thing is dropping, guys. That thing is dropping. And I might tell you next week, don't pay for that watch. I'm letting you know. I might tell you next week, don't pay for it more than 169. I might tell you next week, don't pay more than 169. But I'm going to tell you today, don't pay more than 171. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Today is a day that I'm talking about the Corona era. It was disgusting. There was another Patek Philippe that came out. It was rose gold, and it was fully factory bust down. Not a 47th Street bust down. Not a 47th Street subway train jump or bust down. A real Patek Philippe Nautilus rose gold, fully diamond out, diamond bezel, diamond in the casing with a leather strap. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. This was an unbelievable watch. You have to understand this Patek Philippe. It's the 5724. Unbelievable, with that beautiful leather strap. And people were paying for that watch. Listen and learn. They were paying for that watch $800,000. $800,000. I'm telling you, $800,000 probably is a shitload of money, man. It's a shitload of money. And people would and their F40 Ferrari, and their Enzo, Just sending it away. Sending it away. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Patek and Rolex rose gold diamond bezel, diamond casing, leather strap, 5724. Don't pay more. It's disgusting. White market did. Don't pay more. Listen up and learn. Don't pay more than $185,000 in doping. Doping. Dead. 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 I know what I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold Green Dial Chrono. Reference number 26240 OR. 41 millimeter. Over $300,000. Rose gold with a green dial. Man, those people took you guys to the bank, man. Those people really sapped you. Sapped you, man. I'm telling you, man. I mean, me and Kino will stay in shock, man. The way these people would just wire. Wire. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that AP Royal Oak Rose Gold. Chrono Green Dial 26240 OR. You do yourself a favor and protect your children's tuition money. But don't pay for that watch. A gentleman by the name of Wicked said $110,000. Wicked, you're going to be more surprised. Don't pay for that watch more than $97,000. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, Wicked, with your money. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold Black Dial Chrono 26240 with a 50th anniversary rotor that spins around. Unbelievable watch. This watch, ladies and gentlemen, this watch was over. It didn't have the color dial that they really wanted, It didn't have the blue, it didn't have the green, But it had the black, But it's still the same reference. Same watch, just different colors. And you're going to see the difference on prices from a green dial to a black dial. Same watch. This watch was over $175,000. Don't pay for that AP Rose Gold Black Dial Chrono 26240, 41 millimeter. Don't pay more than $81,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex stainless steel left hand oyster bracelet, green and black ceramic bezel, the oyster, not the Jubilee, the oyster. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your Sprite, 40 millimeter, You do whatever you want. But I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $13,200 in dropping. You're giving your money away, Wicked. Keep on giving your money away. Wicked. Cash is king. Nobody's buying watches, man. Get it through your head. Get it through your head. Nobody's buying watches. Don't let them fool you. Nobody. If you are from the United Kingdom, they're leaving to the oil man country and back. Just letting you know. No money out there. No money. Our next watch is the Rolex stainless steel Jubilee with a blue dial. I call this watch the Joe Biden. Joe Biden, 41 millimeter. With a Jubilee bracelet, beautiful blue dial. Joe Biden. It even reminds me of Joe Biden, to be honest. Unbelievable, Believable, that president. It's unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, this 41 millimeter reference number 126, just in case you want to look it up, 126334. Don't pay for that watch and you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $13,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. I got to look to the kid now. You do whatever you want. Next watch is a Rolex White Gold Daytona Ghost 40 millimeter. We're talking about the older reference number 116509. Remember, this is not the 126 version. This is the 116. Same gold, same, practically same dial, same casing, all that good stuff. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and you want it, complete, use slider condition material watch with all the bells and whistles. But don't pay for that gold. It's white gold. Older reference number. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $36,000 in dropping. Watch market is dead. It's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex yellow gold date green dial. Date green dial. The crayon green. Crayon green. Crayon green. Unbelievable. Reference number 228238. This watch, we're talking about a used slider condition material watch. Okay? Green dials are beginning to stink. Green dials. Green dials are beginning to stink. And let me give you this watch market update. I'm gonna tell you why they're beginning to stink. This is the yellow gold President date 40 millimeter, reference number 228238. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that date. You do whatever you want. Even if you want to pay 55, 56, 53, I'm gonna tell you, don't pay for that watch more. And I mean, remember, all the watch dealers come to see my prices to use them against you guys. That's right. That's right. Sweet kicking is unbelievable. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that yellow gold green dial. Don't pay more than $47,000 in dropping. All right, guys? I'm going to tell you before I let you go. That was my last watch market update. But I'm going to tell you something. Green watches are beginning to, they stink. Don't let that hoopla of green color get you. I saw something that I was studying, and I saw a Sky Dweller Oyster Flex. Listen and learn. And it was just basically dealer to dealer. Remember, I tried showing you on lesson number 9 how they, hype up prices. If you saw lesson 9, you saw how they hype up prices. This is not you and me buying the watch. Forget about me and you. This is first, they're going to hype it up, and then I'm going to tell you how they hype up the price. So they had a Rolex Oyster Flex yellow gold with a green dial. Brand new, 2025. And the watch, you're not going to believe this. Among themselves, forget about me and you buying the watch. Me and you don't have nothing in this fight. We don't have nothing. It's them, hyping up the price. And you know how much they hyped up the price of the yellow gold with a green dial Oyster Flex? You can buy today a yellow gold Oyster Flex with any other color you want, with any other color. And you're going to say, how much? $27,000, right? Same watch, different dial. This is green. It sold for $67,000 among themselves. $67,000. That watch will be soon at $40,000. $67,000. What I'm trying to tell you is, don't you dare buy that watch. Don't you dare buy that watch. Let them eat it among themselves. Que se la coma con papa de McDonald's. All right, guys? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this watch market update show and you learned something. Don't forget to protect yourself. Put all this knowledge you learned today, all this knowledge you learned, put it in your drawer so you can use it when you need to use it. Right, guys? Don't forget that. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our video, like I say every time. Don't forget about that too. I also want to say thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart for supporting the channel. By you supporting the channel, it just keeps us going, you know? It keeps us going, that we want to continue giving you knowledge and helping you guys out, because you guys are still skip hopping around through life like rabbits, and we don't want to permit that, you know? We don't want to see you continue giving away your children's tuition money. You already gave away your 401k. Se jodieron. Se cagaron en la noticia, you know? Sigan de lambones. But we want to keep on helping you guys out with all this information. So when we see you guys are here, you know, 20, 25, 20, 19 organic subscribers, remember this channel, you know, look at my hand. Está trancado, you know, trancado. And once they open it up, se va a joder, but they can't because I dropped too much knowledge, you know. But again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for supporting the channel. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, guys. Thank you so much again for being here. Me and Sweet Kikino are happy that you guys are here with us, and it means a lot. Just you guys being here, all kidding aside, you guys being here makes us happy. That means that somebody is watching our channel, right, guys? Well, guys, like me and Sweet Kikino will say always, take care and brush your hair. Peace. No sean lambones.